Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we've got play props here for you guys on a Friday night. We are actually recording this on Thursday night, where we're happy to report we are looking at 6-2 on the night. Another good night after a pretty rough Wednesday, but we've got plenty to choose from here. 6-game slate on Friday, so we are going to be bringing you a bunch of player props. Also got a couple game videos up for you guys, so make sure to like and subscribe to that page and continue to follow along with us each and every weekday of this season. Also head to thelines.com. Got all the great written content up for you guys up there. Plenty of player props picks coming, and Nate throwing his stuff up there as well. We've also got our odds finder tool up there for you guys. You can make sure that you're seeing all the odds available to you across these U.S. sports books, giving bets in the NBA this season. Nate, let's jump into your first NBA play prop for tonight. Our guy, Dame Lillard, taking on those Sixers.
Yeah, it seems like a matchup where Dame's going to continue to eat, and he probably will. I mean, as we all know, he's been lighting the league on fire. 38 points per game on a 40% usage rate in his last 11 here. The thing is, I want the juice on his turnovers. 3.5, over 3.5 is plus 130. This is something he's hit in 4 of his last 5, and he's averaging 4.1 turnovers to 7 assists in these last 11. It's because teams are starting to load up on him completely. I won't say start, but they're completely loading up on him. Really, since his 71-point explosion, they're saying we're not even going to let him shoot from 3. I mean, he's just under 10 3-point attempts per game, hitting 3.5, around 30% though in his last 6 here, and getting to the line a lot because teams are forcing him to go inside, and that's when that happens. You're talking about turnovers. You're talking about guys taking charges. You're talking about having to kick it out or getting stripped down in the paint, rather than being able to hoist threes. Philly, despite some inconsistent defense, they're still 9th in opponents' turnover rate. They have the 5th most steals per game, 7th in assist to turnover ratio, and they've guarded Dame this way. He scored 33 a game, high usage rate, but 5 turnovers per game, including 6 earlier this season when they matched up. So, I like the odds. If you like potentially good payouts, you'll probably follow that. But if you think that this is a joy-stealing bet, then sure, over 32.5 points, I do think he gets there because Philly does not guard point guards at all. And he can light them up for sure. As we do hope that happens if we're taking the over here at 229.
No, I think the turnovers is the sharper bet, to be honest. I mean, you get the juice there, and the 32.5 is so freaking high. And 4 assists for a guy with a usage rate as wildly high as Dame is not a silly thing. Not only the usage rate, but like if you want to go to some serious like cleaning the glass, and per index kind of how often is he dribbling the ball and how often is the ball in his hands per percentage of these possessions that they have for the Blazers. Like it's going to be in the 80s to 90s that the ball is in his hands at whatever point of the possession they've got the ball. So the likelihood of the turnovers goes up. I will say, sneaky Nate, like we put our notes in these in here and talk about what we want to put down, and you jumped on Dame, and even before you started putting stats in there, you're like, I'm for sure taking Dame, so like just don't even touch it. And I was like, that's fine. Like, but we were both on the same plane there with him. Like Philly against one of the top 3 best scoring point guards in the league, top 2 with Steph probably right now as far as pure point guards go. So yeah, I think the points is still fine here because we do like some points in this one, and we said it multiple times in the game video. Dame could go for 35, and Philly or Portland could score like 104 points, and that still wouldn't surprise us, which scares us a little bit, even though we like the over. But we love Philly's over and we love Dame's over. That's really what we're saying about this game, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about one that's a little bit mixed here, and maybe I should just start with MPJ, which spoiler is my other prop, but I'll just go ahead and talk about AD here because 42.5 points and rebounds for him. It's stupid high. Like that's high for most people's points, rebounds, and assists, right? Joker gets like 45, 46 at this number with the assists in there. So this is dumb high. I get that. It's minus 110 on DraftKings. His last 5, which were all without LeBron, 33 a game and 14 boards. That's in 36 minutes. He's going 9 for 11 from the free throw line and 56% from the field. Toronto, not a great, defensive rebounding team. pretty good offensive rebounding team, but like not with AD, in my opinion. So I think, in the 13 games without LeBron this season, 30 points a game, 15 boards a game in all 13 of those, versus the 25 and 11 that he's putting up when LeBron plays this season. Like I mentioned also in the game video, Jakob Poeltl, my guy, would never mean to slander him, but like even though he's been there for 7 games or 8 games, whatever it is, in the last 7, he's allowing this team is allowing the second most points per game to centers at like 27 a game. And then as far as boards, it's like 16 boards to opposing centers as well. AD is going to get like 36 minutes in this game, right? Where his per 36 numbers are well above, I say like 4 above this points and rebound total that he's at right now. The centers that have been getting everything on this team are all good. It's Kristaps, Joker, Vooch, Zubac. That's who's been scoring against Poeltl. He's been playing really good centers, but like AD is as good as all of them, well, better than 3 of them, and I'm not putting him next to Joker. I don't want to get into that. But also, the Raps are allowing the 10th most rebounds per game in their last 7, and like I said, they're not the best defensive rebounding team at all by any means, but they're also just like, they're playing at a pace that's not necessarily fast, but they're getting lots of shots up, and they are getting second chance points, or they're getting offensive rebounds, and sometimes missing those second chance points, which gives you more rebounds available for everybody around, right? There's just a lot of rebounds to go around in these Raptors games. So I think you could see another 15, 16 rebound game from this dude, and I think you got to put him on there for like 27, 28 points as well.
Yeah, the rebounds, there's some good logic there, I think, but the props are all just so high. Yeah, to take 14 rebounds at minus 125, and you scroll down the list, anything that for AD is ridiculously bad odds, except for him to hit 1-3, by the way, or get the first field goal of the game, which isn't terrible. Plus 500 at FanDuel. Hey, happy first day of online betting in Massachusetts. You want to take a no-risk bet on that there, plus 500. Sure, go for it. I'm a little skeptical about Toronto being able to slow him down, but even slowing him down, he's still probably going to hover around 40 points of rebounds here. So it's a competitive line for sure.
It is.
But I'm going to go back to another guy on seeing a sky-high usage rate. Bradley Beal seems to be back to full health. In his last 12, scoring 26 points with a 34% usage rate, and that's usage has gone up in the 2 matchups with Atlanta, including 37 points on 40% usage. And then just 2 nights ago, 24 points, 34% usage. He's actually hit at least 24 in 12 straight against Atlanta, averaging 30 a game, 32.5% usage. That's where his prop is at tonight, 24.5. Not great juice on the over. Once again, they're offering great juice for him to hit 2 threes because he just doesn't take that many. He's 0 for 7 from 3 in his last 2 home games, but his previous 6, he was really cooking. 15 threes on 33 attempts. That's 45%. So he's definitely shown the ability to step out and hit. Now DeLon Wright in the starting lineup more for Washington. He's more of a setup guy, getting Beal those looks. And look, so Atlanta, they're better offensively, it seems, with Quinn Snyder at the helm, but worse defensively. And in those 7 games since he's taken over, they're giving up the 4th most points, 3rd most assists to shooting guards. I think Beal has a nice night here in terms of points and assists, but I would stick with the points and maybe the threes.
Yeah, I mean, Quinn Snyder is bringing his same Utah style. Like, it's almost as though he didn't have a defensive game plan other than throw Rudy Gobert out there for 36 minutes a game and then, have really good guards. He's been really good for his guards. I don't like this game. I don't like having to figure out which of these players is going to score. Kristaps is coming off a 43-point night. Maybe you like that. But like, I don't want to talk about that game in the Wizards. And I just don't want to talk about any of those teams in the play-in for the East, right? Like 7 through 12, like, ugh, just gross. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And Brad
Except
Beal has
Halliburton.
been... Yeah, Sans Halliburton, but I think they're like 13th right now. Either way, I'm going to finish off with the one I actually feel way more confident about. Like I said, Michael Porter Jr. in a matchup against those San Antonio Spurs, who, by the way, have not been awful on defense necessarily. Well, they've been bad, but their opponent field goal percentage not that bad over their last like 5. But this is a good matchup for Michael Porter Jr. 16.5 points is low, I think, for this one. Minus 120 on DK as we're recording this on Thursday. It's the best I could find for you guys using that odds finder tool on thelines.com. The points and rebounds I also love at 21.5, minus 115 on DraftKings there. in 2 games versus San Antonio this season. 20 points a game, 7.5 boards, 30 minutes a game, which not very high, but about 30 minutes a game in those 2 versus them. Three threes a game on 43% in those 2, making like 7 in one game, 5 in the other, whatever. Last 5 games overall, he's at 21 points a game, which is basically his points and rebounds prop. So do what you will. Also add the 6.5 rebounds, and he hasn't even played 30 minutes. He hasn't been averaging. It's like 29.4 minutes a game in those last 5. So he's had a great usage rate, 23%, despite all the weapons on the floor. 128 individual offensive rating in those last 5, and then incredible splits: 58% from the field, 44% from deep, making 3 threes a game on just like 7.5 attempts. Another like 44% from deep in those last 5. It's dunks or threes for the dude. And if he's hitting 3 threes in the game and he gets a few dunks, the 17 points feels pretty easy. San Antonio allowing the most points per game to SFs, small forwards, over the last 7 games. Haven't been that bad in the past, but yeah, I mean, also Malachi Branham is out. Keldon Johnson will be in this game, not necessarily that helpful on defense against this position. And they haven't, they're just awful on defense everywhere. Like, right, the only thing that they've been decent at is not giving up that many free throws. Michael Porter Jr. averages 2 a game because, like I said, all he does is go to the rim and dunk or get those 3-pointers. So I think it's a good opportunity. It's too low of a prop in a game that's a good matchup for him.
Yeah, I don't think there's as much risk of a blowout too with Denver on the road. They just tend to be much more competitive on both sides of the ball, or allow the other team to be more competitive. But I mean, San Antonio is literally not trying to win games, so this is going to be like just like warm up shooting for MPJ, who's just the lights out. 43%, like you said, against this team. I think he will be higher than 40% from 3, and so I would look at his 3-pointer props. It's not great odds for him to hit 3, but maybe you want him to hit 4 threes in this game, which he's certainly capable of doing.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, go crazy with it if you want. I blowout or not, like, he'll be in for his requisite like 30 minutes. That's like kind of what he's getting, because one leg is longer than the other, so he's prone to injury. But I think it's a good opportunity for him to get those 17 tonight. So that is all the time we have for you guys in this one. So make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Looking to stay wicked hot on those play-up props after a really good Thursday night with you guys. Until we see you next. Happy betting.